everyone, welcome to day 13 of Vegan June and what I ate yesterday. For breakfast I made an overnight chocolate chia mousse pot. I prepared the pot the night before by adding 3 tablespoons of chia seeds to a tall glass. Then add in 2 tablespoons of raw cacao powder. Fill the glass with 200 milliliters of almond milk and mix it really well with 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. I find that when you really whip air into it, it turns into more of a mousse. And I popped that in the fridge. This is what it looks like just after 10 minutes later, but I left it in there overnight to fully set. In the morning you can take it out of the fridge and top it with whatever you like. I just chopped up 1 banana into slices and added those on, and then 2 tablespoons of cacao nibs, but this would also be amazing with some coconut cream. Again, it literally took under a minute to prepare the night before. You can put it in a jar with a lid and it's another breakfast you can take to work with you. It literally tastes like chocolate mousse. It's crazy good. For a morning snack I made an avocado and sweet corn salsa. I just roughly chopped 1 large tomato, half of a red onion and half of a large cucumber, and I added those to a deep bowl. Then took half an avocado and cubed it up in its shell and added that in too. I then added in 1 cup of sweet corn along with 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, half a teaspoon of red pepper flakes, a teaspoon of fresh dill, a teaspoon of fresh parsley, and I seasoned it with salt and pepper. I gave it all a good mix together and then I had a small bowl of that. I covered the rest of it and kept it in the fridge. And you can use this salsa for so many different things. It's really versatile on salads or on Mexican style food or with nachos. It's really refreshing with lots of different flavors and textures as well. For lunch I made a scramble loaded avocado. For this I firstly sliced up 1 small white onion, 1 green pepper, 5 mushrooms and 1 medium tomato. I then added the onions first into a pan with a little olive oil on a medium to high heat and cooked them until they were soft. I next added in the mushrooms, then the peppers, and allowed those to cook. I also had some leftover boiled potatoes, but any form of leftover potato will work, and I added those to the pan with half a teaspoon of turmeric and seasoned it with salt and pepper. This makes for a great scramble which doesn't involve any eggs. You can do this with tofu too. I then moved those to one side of the pan and added in the tomatoes to the other side and let those cook. I then used the other half of the avocado from the salsa, and once the scramble was done I topped it with that and then the tomatoes, and finally sprinkled on some red pepper flakes. This would make for an amazing breakfast as well. It's actually surprisingly filling. You could even do a whole avocado or have some slices of toast with it as well, but I also had it with a cup of peppermint tea. I have to have at least 1 cup a day. It's just my favourite tea ever. For a snack in the afternoon I made these mini cheese and chive bites. I started by grating 1 courgette in my food processor, and then I drained off the excess water from it by pressing it down into a sieve. I then added on some salt, which helps to draw out moisture too, and I set that to the side whilst I prepared everything else. I then grated up 1 white onion in the food processor as well, added in 1 cup of cooked quinoa, 2 chopped spring onions, minced in 2 cloves of garlic, added in 4 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, 1 chia egg, which is 2 tablespoons of chia seeds mixed with 6 tablespoons of water, a handful of chopped chives. I then added in the grated courgette, 1 tablespoon of chickpea flour, and seasoned it with salt and pepper. I didn't want it to get too mushy, so I just mixed it with a spoon in the food processor, then laid out some cupcake cases on a lined tray, and scoop the mix between 12 cases. You could just use a lined baking tray and put spoonfuls of the mix straight onto it. I popped that in my preheated oven, which was on 180 degrees Celsius for 25 to 30 minutes. I then left them to cool when they were out, and I had some with the leftover cashew sauce from yesterday's video, which I used as a dip. These are very similar to the broccoli bites that I made in a previous video, a little bit crunchy on the outside but soft in the middle. They're great for party food or just to snack on, or you could have them in salads or in wraps with hummus too. We had family over for dinner and we kind of had like a buffet. I first made a salad similar to the one we had with the meze the other night at the restaurant. Some of you asked if I could recreate one. So I finally chopped half a large cucumber, 3 medium-sized tomatoes, a small handful of fresh mint leaves, and then a large handful of walnuts. I mixed that together in a bowl and added in 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, and that was it. I also made a potato salad by first chopping up potatoes into small pieces. I boiled those, drained them off, and then added them to a bowl with the rest of that cashew sauce. Added in half a chopped red onion, seasoned it with salt and pepper, and topped it with some fresh parsley. So we had those with the rest of the salsa from that morning, a bowl of hummus, a bowl of pea and mint dip, some pizza crackers. These look so much better than my original ones, and I think that's because I used a really thick tomato paste here. The cheese and chive bites, the sun-dried tomato, olive and basil balls. These recipes I've already shown in previous videos, and I'll link them all down below. I'd also bought some fresh bread and some peanuts as well. I laid all of that out on the table, and this is just such a great way to introduce people around you to vegan food. There's so much variety and so many flavours, and just by looking at it you can see how interesting and creative vegan food can be. There'll be at least one thing, if not everything, that they'll like, and I just find it so easy to do this kind of food because people can then just help themselves. Plus you usually have some food left over, and I knew that this would last us for the weekend too. So it seems like a lot of prep, but most of this stuff I already have pre-made and it's kept in my fridge or my freezer. My best friend and I do this all the time, even if it's just the two of us, but it's just such a relaxed way to eat as well. Pretty much everything you can just leave out and you can keep coming back to it when you want more. It's such a great idea for the summer months, for picnics as well, be it an indoor picnic or outdoors, and if outdoors you can just do all of these in containers. We were all so full that we didn't have any dessert, but then later on I made a little something. I thought I'd show you how I make my almond butter, as I get asked all the time if I make my own, and I do. I just blend up 1 cup of roasted salted almonds in my food processor. You have to leave it to blend for a good 5 to 10 minutes. It will kind of go crumbly to start with, but then it gradually turns into a butter, and I just store that in an almond butter jar. I keep it topped up. So I had a few dates, I cut them in half and spooned some of the almond butter into them, and one of you guys actually told me to try this, but then I took it to the next level and also added on some grated vegan chocolate too. Again, these would be a great option for a buffet style dessert, but they're also great as a snack too. That's it for day 13. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Have a lovely weekend, and I will see you again on Monday. Bye!